Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are starting this video by looking for a drawing reference on Pinterest. I always come to Pinterest first when I'm looking for references, and I have a whole board dedicated to it. And I have a cold, so that's why I sound so stuffy. But I wanted to do a voiceover for this video, so I'm doing it. I had this idea to make a little series of me drawing random girls I find from Pinterest, like picking the reference on camera and going through the entire process with you guys. But I don't know if that's a good idea. Maybe I could do something to where like I take a reference and then show how I would stylize it into like fan art. Like, would that be interesting? I just don't feel like I'm in the position to be teaching anyone anything, honestly. I'm still learning so much currently that it feels wrong to come on here like this is what you do and don't do. I don't really know, and I just be winging it. And something I do today, I might not do next week. I might not even do it tomorrow. My drawing process depends on my mood. And sometimes I do the line art before everything, and sometimes I do it during the rendering process. Both ways can be the right way, but me saying, hey, do it this way, and the next video is me doing the opposite, can be confusing. And my art style is constantly changing. I'm still trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work for me. Maybe something that worked for one drawing doesn't work for the next. It all depends, and it's all confusing. And I guess that touches on why I don't make art tutorials. Occasionally I'll have people ask for them, and I'll respond like, oh yeah, I will eventually. And I do want to, but the thing is, I'm just not there yet. In the future, I would like to make educational or helpful videos, and I will one day, just not yet. Another issue is that I'm just not the teacher type. I'm really bad at explaining. I forget things easily, and I have to backtrack a lot, and I change my mind often. I'm not a very good instructor yet. I'm also not very good at speaking in general, which is why it took me so long to start doing voiceovers. There's a few skills I need to work on first before I would feel comfortable teaching people. So yeah, that's it on that topic. This probably won't be the last time I talk about it because the subject of tutorials does come up often. But now let's talk about the drawing. I've had this picture saved to my reference board for a while now. I don't know if you could tell by how far I had to scroll down to get to it. This girl is beautiful, and I have no idea who she is, but I knew once I saw this picture I was going to draw it eventually. I cut out a lot of the struggling I did with this sketch. Her mouth was the hardest part while sketching. I'm not too skilled at drawing teeth, and the way I kept doing it looked very awkward. The slight gap between the bottom lip and the teeth was hard to capture, so I ended up just sketching her mouth completely shut. But then I felt like I was avoiding an opportunity to teach myself, so I met myself in the middle and decided to show her teeth and not the slight parting. Another thing I had to do was change her skin tone. I started it off way too light and had to darken it a bit, like in the middle of rendering. I still feel like it was a little too light, but I couldn't darken it more without having to redo a lot of the shading and highlights. I really didn't want to do that, so I just left it as it was. I get skin tones wrong often. I tend to make pale characters too dark and darker characters too light, and I did that recently on my Memon mini comic. I did make him way too light, but I didn't realize it until after I was finished with it, and I didn't feel like going in and changing it, so I just posted it how it was. The response I got on it was amazing, but I did get one comment that mentioned it. It wasn't a mean comment at all, so I didn't take it that way, but it was something like, I love your art, but you definitely made him too light in this one. And it really bothered me so much because I knew they were 100% right. And I beat myself up for not just putting in the little extra work to fix it. I even contemplated taking the post down, but I had to stop and tell myself, don't do that, it's already up, and just do better the next time. I need to work on getting the right color towards the beginning so I won't have to go back after the drawing's already done. And even if I do notice it later, to just fix it then instead of just pushing through and posting it anyway. The main reason I wanted to do this Pinterest Girls series is so I can force myself to practice drawing women. I struggle with it now because I don't know how I want girls to look in my art style. I overthink it so much when it comes to girls, and I don't know why. I used to only draw girls unless I had to, even in traditional art, but now it's so much harder. I want to draw my female OCs so bad, but I feel like I just can't do them justice yet. I have this bad habit of only wanting to do things when I know I can be good at it first. Like, I don't want to do the struggling part. I just want to know how to do something and do it well the first time. And most things don't work that way, and I know it doesn't, but it still doesn't stop me from being scared to try, because I just don't want to fail at doing it. But I'm working through it, especially while I'm making this new comic. It's a lot of struggling, but it's also really fun. And I hope I can share a lot of the process on here eventually. But that's all I have to talk about for this video. There's about 2 minutes left, and that'll be it. At the end of this video, it kind of shows like where I liquefied it a little bit after this whole recording. I kind of show like a short clip of the liquefied version, but even after that part, I liquefied it more. So at the end, I'll just put up the picture how it looks currently. But that's all for this video, and I hope you come back for the next one. Bye.